imagine tomorrow your parliament is taken over by AI. Imagine your military is taken by AI. Your whole social system is taken up by an AI.
Sir, you've had an illustrious career. You served Indian Army for 26 years.
अब सलामी मंच के सामने कैप्टन संजय सिन्हा के नेतृत्व में जो टुकड़ी आ रही है वो है 210 रॉकेट रेजिमेंट की।
If you are a man behind a weapon, courage which is inherent in your training and the whole culture, the whole ethos is also to lead from the front.
What do we, when people say future ready university, what do they really mean by it?
Whatever is existing, my idea is to create much more than this. How many kgs of food is getting wasted every day? But I said, what are you doing about it? Why don't you use this so-called garbage to use some biogas? Everyone is knowledgeable about it. Where we are lacking is the intent. Are you going to be a good human being? Are you going to respect humanity? Life is not about all black and white. There are shades of grey in between, and you need to how to tackle them.
For 26 years, he served the nation in the Indian Army, leading with courage, discipline and responsibility. He then stepped into corporate world as head of education at JK Cement, understanding industry, systems and leadership at scale. With academic depth shaped by global exposure, research in management and education policy, he now leads Sir Padampat Singhania University as its president. So let's start our first SPSU podcast with Dr. Sanjay Sinha.
Sir, welcome to the podcast. Really excited to kick off this new series with you.
So thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Sir, let's just start, sir, because sir, you've had an illustrious career. You served Indian Army for 26 years and then moved to corporate world and now education, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, but when you walk to the campus of SPSU today, sir, so what is the thought that goes, you see a lot of students around you. What is that goes in your mind, sir?
See, what goes through my mind is that I again feel very young at heart, looking at these young faces.
Right.
Also, when I look at the way we are poised as the nation, with a large young dividend, which we have within the nation.
Yes.
So I see them as future of our nation. And I feel responsible there, you know, that how I need to groom them, how I need to make them ready for the industry when I have their 3 to 4 years with me.
Right.
So how can I be an enabler in shaping their future? So that is what crosses my mind when I look at them.
Sir, I personally engage a lot with the students. And then one thing that comes out very naturally is that you are very approachable in terms of what they have said. Sir, is this something very consciously you do it or intentionally do it, or this is something that comes naturally to you?
No, I would say rather it comes naturally to me, but also as a leader or as a person who is heading the institution, it is very important to be very approachable, very amicable, very affable to the students. So you get the correct kind of feedback. Right. And you can constantly improve upon once you get these kind of feedback from the rank and file. So that is how I look at it.
Sir, like I mentioned, you've served 26 years in Indian Army.
Yeah.
Sir, does a soldier ever really retire?
No, the soldier never retires. It just re-attires itself. That's what I can say.
Okay.
You know, it re-attires, it repositions, it realigns itself.
Right.
It upskills itself, it reorients itself as per the new environment. We are so used to different situations in life,
right,
which the armed forces give you an opportunity that way. So that is how it is. It is actually, you have gone through so many facets of life and so many varied experience in various kinds of terrain, interacting with various culture, tradition, you know. So these things teach you a lot in how to cope up with real life in real life kind of situations. And I think you have to leverage your learning from there. in the corporate world. So, I mean, to that extent, it is just old wine in the new bottle. The packaging is different, but it's all about how you reposition yourself, you realign yourself, wherever required, how you upskill yourself.
Yes.
That is what is required.
Such a great thought, sir.
Yeah, it is. In fact, I mean, today, whatever I am, the kind of character building which has taken place in the army, the competence which you have to acquire if you are a man behind a weapon, and the kind of courage which is inherent in your training, and the whole culture, the whole ethos is also to lead from the front, which is a lot to do with your character, courage and competence. So, and that is what you have to replicate once you are in the CV street. That is all about how you reposition yourself into the new environment.
Correct. Yes. So since you've served Indian Army for 26 years, it comes with a lot of discipline and responsibility, sir. People usually say, sir, today's batch or students or in the young generation, today's generation is not that disciplined as such. What is your thought on that, sir?
See, I would say, I would like to put it that way.
Yes.
The whole ecosystem, the whole environment of the successive generations have changed. Life earlier was quite laid back.
Correct.
Quite, it moved at a very slow pace. The rapidity of change was not so fast.
Right.
The kind of information overload which was available today was not there. So, I think what is more important is to harness their energy, harness their whatever knowledge they have, and give them a good mentorship, give them a good direction.
Right.
So, I would not rather tell that the present generation is more indisciplined or something like that. I mean, I think successive generations have always felt like that about the younger generation.
That's fair, sir, yes. I would like to agree to that.
Yeah, so it's like that. But what is important is to guide them well, to harness their energy and channelize it into correct direction. That is what matters.
Right. Sir, in one of your LinkedIn posts, sir, you spoke about traditions building trust and identity, sir. Sir, how important is trust and identity building the institutions and universities in general across?
So trust and identity building, it is part of any organization's heritage, if I may say so.
Right.
Okay. And that is the backbone, that is the architecture of that particular institution. Okay. So it is very essential, because that is how the people who have started that organization, the forefathers, and throughout the ages of that organization, no matter whether it is a very old organization or a new organization, there is certain culture which is built in that. There are certain values which the people imbibe over the years, and there needs to be a continuity in that, because the policies may change.
Yes.
The evolution, the leaders may change.
Yes.
The whole evolution process of that institution may be changing fast.
Yes.
But it is the values and the culture that holds that together.
Yes.
That is, as I said, that's the backbone of it.
Core should
that's
be the same.
that's the core of it, which you can fall back upon.
Right.
Which gives you more stability.
Yes.
That's what it is. So, I mean, it is very important. It's very essential.
And that was such a really nice LinkedIn post as well, where because from your experience, you've compared Indian Army and the corporate world both, and how it goes along. It was really insightful, sir.
Yeah. So this question you have already asked me earlier.
Yes.
And I would like to state the same thing. There are whole the canvas of learning in the army, I think, is much vast.
Correct.
Because of the kind of terrain, the kind of culture, ethnicity, the whole diversity, the whole ecosystem of army is so vast that your learning is multitude, responsible and accountable for whatever you do in the armed forces. And if you replicate those things in the your CV street, if you do
Yes.
the same thing in your corporates, I think you will be a success.
You once mentioned, sir, students should actually have one activity every month that they should look forward to, sir. So what?
Yeah, so you see, there are two thoughts behind it.
Yes.
One is not everyone would like a particular thing which is going on in the
Fair
campus.
enough, yes.
You know, everyone's taste is different, everyone's orientation is different, likes and dislikes are there.
Yes.
You know, so if something or the other is on, then every child or every student gets an opportunity to conceptualize that thing,
Right.
to plan that event, or do the whole management behind it,
Right.
get sponsorship.
Correct. Yes.
So, and lay a whole timeline to it. So there are many aspects of organization, the organizational ability, which is not taught or maybe taught in the classroom,
Right.
but you get to do it hands-on.
Right.
So that is how it is important, because if you have just one event, maybe a bunch of guys will do it, get around, they will know what is teamwork, what is collaboration, what it takes to get a sponsorship and things like that. Those real life challenges they will get to know, but the whole hog will not get to do it firsthand. So if you have whole lot of events coming one after the other, then you can pick and choose also. Okay, my dear friend, you got an opportunity last time.
Yes.
Now
it's
let
my
some
turn.
other people come up and do it.
Correct.
So it's like that, So the idea is that if you have plethora of events coming one after the other, then more and more students will get chance. And of course, still few people will shy away, but at least they'll learn from others what they're
There's
doing.
a add in skills also beyond academics as well.
Yes. So it's that,
That only, yes,
it's the same thing. You get to learn more hands-on. You are learning by experience. You are doing it hands-on. And what better way to learn than to do it yourself, practice it yourself, and it's a whole learning process. Once they are doing it, if you just manage to do one particular event successfully, the amount of satisfaction which you will get and the lifelong learning which you acquire from that,
Correct.
it's going to hold you in great stead and later in your life.
Correct. So from your corporate experience, what is the corporate world and the companies are looking for to hire in young graduates today, sir?
I mean, certainly they are looking beyond the degree of the individual.
Correct, for sure,
okay.
yes.
So I think what they are looking at is whether he is a team player,
Right.
whether his conversation skills are good,
Yes.
whether he is able to communicate well, whether he has got the intent to learn,
Right.
whether he is more adaptable
Correct.
to the new circumstance, new scenarios, and also whether he has a sense of discipline, because when you are a student, you are quite bohemian in nature, in your thought process. You are a wanderer at heart. But once you get to a corporate, you need to lead a more focused life, or what is required of the that particular company or institution, or even if you are an entrepreneur, then you have to be more focused towards your company. So in that certain amount of discipline and listening to others well,
Correct.
you should be able to communicate better. Then only you will be able to collaborate better. So those are the things which I think a company, though the interviews are very small, the duration is very
Correct.
small, but I think any experienced HR personnel would like to see these things, whether he's a team player or not, whether he's a lifelong learner or not, whether he's willing to learn.
That's really important in today's
because
world for sure.
life is very, the way technology is changing, it is so dynamic.
Correct.
So whether he's got that adaptability, whether he's a lifelong learner or not, so those are the things I think in a short span of time any experienced HR would be able to gauge through. So that's what it is.
Sir, SPSU has a huge campus, sir. We have multiple labs. But sir, what it also shines in is having high-tech labs and design spaces as well, sir. how much really, sir, it adds up in hands-on learning for the students in general?
See, it always gives you a great pleasure when you walk into any of these labs and you
Correct.
find students tinkering with some idea, or they're trying to innovate something,
Right.
or even if they are able to make some kind of prototype there. So it is always a great feeling because eventually these are the things, this whole process
Yes.
will teach them a lot.
Right.
And even if they fail, again, there'll be a learning quotient there. But what matters is the process. They are going through a process in which they are collaborating with others, they are accommodating the ideas of others, they are trying to tinker with the ideas of others. So this whole process of learning,
Right.
which takes place, is very important, because that is how they will be able to pitch themselves once they are actually out
real
in
world.
on the streets, and they will know that it doesn't always happen single-handedly, and especially now when the learning is very, very horizontal, when one core subject will not take you very far. You have to have a
Multi-specialization.
mix and match of various subjects. So in that way, he'll be mentally more adaptable. He or she will know, that it is the collaboration also in knowledge, in terms of innovation, in terms of some ideas which come up afresh, anew.
Right.
So all these things, they will know how to interact with each other. Not like older days scientists who will keep toiling for years together and then
Right.
come up with something. Here, the whole knowledge bank is so much available, though it is vast, but it is available.
Available, yes.
So it is only the learning which has to take place, and that learning will take place only when you collaborate with others. So that is how these are the things they learn once they are in there with a team doing something in the lab.
Right.
So it gives me great satisfaction.
So as you mentioned, it's genuinely quite fascinating, because the other day I entered a lab and students were working on few things. There's a RC car that they're working
Yes, yeah,
on,
yeah.
an EV bike that they're working
Yes.
on. It's quite fascinating, even for us, because we are graduates, but still we get into the labs, and it's just quite fascinating to see the infrastructure.
So it is a whole idea of discovery.
Yes, exactly.
So whenever you create something,
Yes.
you discover something, it gives you a whole lot of satisfaction.
Yes.
And as I said, apart from that, the journey is more important.
So you've written about a LinkedIn post about AI, where it's just not just a technology, but something that needs governance and ethical guardrails as well.
Yeah, it's a very vast subject.
Yes.
But to put it very briefly, the ethics, the governance, and the responsible use,
Yes.
all three, I think, are equally important. While the takeaways are many, the advantages are many.
Yes.
In the field of, a lot can be done in the field of medicine, agriculture, even education.
Right.
Personalized education. But why there is so much of stress on the ethical part, the governance part, is that imagine tomorrow, like your parliament is taken over by AI.
Yeah.
Imagine your military is taken up by AI, or imagine your whole social system is taken up with bias by an AI. This is the time when AI is still at quite a nascent stage.
Yes.
We need to fix the governance part, and obviously the governance will come loaded with the ethics part.
Sir, how are we as a university at SPSU, we are, guiding students how to use it, because we have multiple courses linked with AI as well, sir. How are we going ahead with this?
Frankly speaking, I am not very skilled to answer this question of yours. But then, the plain vanilla CS is not there.
Yes.
We have
Yes,
CS with AI, CS with robotics, CS with the Internet of Things, and and so on and so forth. So that is because we want to give them exposure to multiple fields, and as I said, collaboration. So once a guy who is doing CS AI, or a guy who is doing mechatronics, or a guy who is doing CS with robotics, so once they collaborate with each other and ideate on something, then I think they will come up with more robust project. So the whole process of ideation will have will interact with different minds, with different genres, with different teachings, learnings. So naturally, something. I mean, all those aberrations can be taken care of inherently within that group itself.
Yes.
So I think it's very
like
important.
how we took care of internet when it came eventually, and then we have had some rules and regulations regarding that, and then in general how.
Oh yes, so that of course. I mean, we have already talked about the governance part. Yeah, so that has to be there. There's a set of rules and regulations has to be there. The guidelines have to be there, and of course, it has to be a top-down approach. And even people who are writing the codes, who are dealing with the algorithms, they need to have that kind of mindset which is ethical. So that is there. So it is more to do with your self-discipline and also the regulations which has to come from the governance which has to come from the government side.
So you are also very fond of being sustainable and in sustainability in general, sir. I remember once you spoke about that we should have multiple spots in university where students can just sit and relax and just be in nature. Sir, why is it so important for you?
See, when we talk of sustainability, I think the first thing, first thing is that they should love nature.
Yes.
And that will happen only in a campus which is a 100-acre campus.
Correct.
That students are not only confined to the brick and mortar. They are able to venture out in the different parts of the campus. And my endeavor is that you create an area of interest in all the regions of the campus, so that the children are able to venture out there.
Yes.
Like we have created a herbal garden or a botanical garden also. Okay? We have a lake also.
Yes.
We have a biogas plant. We are doing water harvesting also. But apart from that, we have created a fountain also. We have created a water cascade also. So, and likewise in future, in coming future, in near future, I intend creating so many other things. We have a huge solar system also, which generates almost 400 megawatts of electricity. But whatever is existing, my idea is to create much more than this, so that children are not just confined to their rooms or to the classrooms or the library. Now we have made digital library also. So again, they will be more confined to their rooms, reading books or going through any kind of research papers on their mobile itself. But the idea is that they should be more into the lap of nature.
Yes.
They should be sitting around the trees.
It just calms you a lot as well.
Yeah, it calms you. It teaches you a lot of other things which nature has to offer to you. Which we somehow have, as a society, relegated ourselves, and more so the city dwellers. We have relegated ourselves from the nature. So we need to again revisit those areas, not only during vacations but otherwise also. And here we get an opportunity to, we have an opportunity to give them that feeling. Yes. So why not?
Correct. So you just mentioned about biogas plant.
Yeah.
So how did you came up with that idea, and how did we started doing it, and how is it really functioning right now in the SPSU?
Okay. So idea came from a very funny thing.
Yes.
You know, our chemistry faculty,
Right.
I thought was underutilized.
Okay.
You know, because there were not many students there.
Right.
So I said, let me give them some task. And it just happened simultaneously.
Okay.
While this thought was there in my mind, I visited the mess and I said, okay, you guys are writing how much, how many kgs of food is getting wasted every day.
Right.
So they said, yes, sir, sure enough, we have a board and we are writing there. But I said, what are you doing about it? So why don't you use this so-called garbage to use some biogas?
Correct.
So we got the faculty, the chemistry faculty, the biotech faculty, and a bunch of students to do this as a pilot project.
Right.
And initially they did it at a very small scale, and then we were able to replicate it at a large scale. And today we can light a bulb also with that. And in a month, I think we get around 4 cylinders of gas, and that is right now only used for making tea for the students, and also for the washing the dishes. They can heat up the water there. But it was a project which started from a very small thing, and eventually we could give it to the students and put a teacher mentor, and they were able to do it at literally no cost.
Such a great initiative, sir. Who would know that at times like these it would be really necessary, because it's just helping a lot, saving LPG.
Yeah, it was basically because of the food wastage.
Right.
We
Yes.
wanted to utilize it in
Utilize
some
it.
form or the other.
Sir, SPSU has also been recognized as a green campus recently, sir. What are your thoughts on that, sir? How important is this for you?
It is very important, and I mean, it is important to the world when we are talking about global warming, we are talking about climate change, we are talking about, you know, I mean, so much of disruption in the whole climate which is happening. So we need to be conscious about the nature, and we need to preserve it. We need to lead a more sustainable lifestyle. And to that extent, whatever we could do, like we are doing water harvesting at a very large scale. We have aquaculture, we have the botanical garden, as you said, we have this biogas plant. And every year, though it is not much, but we intend every monsoon planting at least 1,000 trees in the campus. So these are the green initiative. Recently, we have been certified as the green and sustainable campus also. Okay. I mean, but that is so far as the certification goes. But right. What is important is that every student, they should realize the importance of leading a sustainable life, and how to preserve nature and how to preserve both flora as well as, wherever it matters, yes, the fauna itself. Yes. And what I personally feel is that everyone is knowledgeable about it. There is no problem in the knowledge part, but where we are lacking is the intent.
Right.
You know, like doesn't anyone know that drinking from plastic or using plastic or throwing garbage here and there is bad, or felling trees is bad? Everyone knows.
Right.
But that intent should be there. You know, once you see something, you pick up, you recycle it or reuse it or reduce it. I mean, in whatever way you want.
Correct.
All these things sound very good on the paper and books, you know, but you need to start practicing it.
Small habits.
Small things. Like you go to the washroom, you start using tissue papers. Why can't you carry a handkerchief?
Fair enough.
You know,
yes,
so these are the things. I think that's what I said. I mean, I think awareness is there. That is, I mean, no point just trying to spread awareness. Awareness is there. What is lacking is the intent. You know, intent to do it yourself, to lead by example. Yeah. That is what is lacking.
Most of the times we just do it and then we realize that, oh no, we shouldn't have thrown this, you know.
Yeah, at times you feel that it is not my job. It is the job of the housekeeping cell.
That's also
or
fair,
housekeepers.
Yes.
But you should lead by example. Yes. You should pick up the trash yourself and recycle it. I mean, put it in that kind of bins which are meant for recycling.
Yes.
You know? But you have to come forward. I mean, the other day I was just addressing the NSS people. They have adopted a village, and I was just saying that don't do things for the sake of doing it. You know,
yes.
I mean, you should have a clear-cut vision as to how you want to improve the quality of life within that village, or what all sustainable practices you would like to bring about in that village.
Right.
So you should have that chalked out, and when and how you will address these issues, I'll be the most happiest person on the earth. And of course, the feedback would be obtained from the villages and not from your reports. Because I always believe one look on ground is better than 1,000 reports.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah, that tells a lot.
it's not that you do things for the sake of doing it. I mean, you have joined an organization which is a voluntary organization, so do it with passion and do it out of compassion. You know, that's what matters.
So what does a future ready university looks like to you, sir? What do we, when people say future ready university, what do they really mean by it?
See, when they say future ready, obviously they mean that the guy should become employable.
Yeah, that's the,
should be able to earn a livelihood for himself.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, there are many words around it. You know, you can say we make it as industry ready. You can say that the guy is now had his internship in a particular corporate, and so he is better fit to join that corporate and things like that. So while competence matters everywhere, you know, if you are competent, then only an industry will take you. But that matters. But at the end of the day, it is has your learning been oriented towards the betterment of the society? Are you going to be a responsible citizen of this country?
yes.
Are you going to be a conscientious citizen of this country?
Fair enough.
You know,
Yes.
are you going to be a good human being? Are you going to respect humanity?
Yes.
You know, so all these things matter. But of course, in the near term, what matters to them is that you should be able to skill them, you should be able to equip them,
Right.
you should be able to give them exposure of the industry, preferably the industry which they want to join, you know, and they should be able to earn a livelihood for themselves.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so all these things are important, but equally important is to become a good human being, become a responsible citizen, and to value humanity. I mean, we see growing hatred, growing loot, arson, this, that, you know. I mean, so towards that, I think somewhere we need to behave in a more humane manner. You know, so
Totally
that is equally important. In our days, there used to be moral studies or the studies of ethics in the school days. I don't know why we have lost out on that. It is so important.
Yes.
You know, so I think there are certain curricula we must revisit, and we need to tweak it, and maybe put one credit, or maybe it can be creditless, but it should be taught.
Such a great thought, sir, because as you mentioned, I remember, because even I have studied moral science in my school.
Yeah.
And then around that time when we used to study it, you used to like, why are they teaching us this? But now you really think that we really need it today.
See, people, I mean, get high-headed such easily these days.
Yes.
You know, and not only getting, you know, agitated about something, but they intend to harm also. So I mean,
Right.
so we need to teach our children more about ethics, more about morality, more about compassion, more about how to be more humane, how to understand that, you know, a particular time, that particular person with whom you are interacting may be going through a whole lot of other things in life.
Yes.
You know, and maybe for that particular second is got irritated, that should not further aggravate you. No? So you must try to understand from his or her perspective as well. So I think those things also we need to prepare our children for, that this is also there in life. Life is not about all black and white. There are shades of gray in between,
Yes.
and you need to how to tackle them.
Such a great and noble thought, sir. Genuinely.
Thank you.
So looking ahead, sir, what does the future of SPSU excite you, sir?
Yeah, I'm very excited about the future because, as I said, the whole idea is that whatever students are there, whatever staff are there with you, whatever faculty members are there, they are all in an environment which is very conducive to learning, which is very conducive to research, which is very conducive to collaboration with other universities, even abroad.
Yes, yes.
You know, so I am very, very sanguine about the future of the university. I am very hopeful, very cheerful about the future of the university because of my students and because of my faculty members. This is what I think.
So that's a great point, and thank you so much for this podcast, sir. Genuinely, always whenever we sit with you, we learn a lot, and hopeful that we'll do this again next time, and much great podcast next time as well, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Very nice of you. Thank you so much. Very gracious of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.